Welcome back. It's the Word with G Fantasy Football Stardom Situm Season Review. So we're going to look back right now on how I did, or how we did as a whole during this whole fantasy football season. Videos week in, week out, and I'll let you know up front, these were calculated via Yahoo Fantasy Football Scoring, PPR, points per reception, and players' performance was judged upon an 8.5 points or higher in order to get us a win in a starting section, and 8.5 and lower for a sit to get a win in the sitting section. So we started out in week 2. If you didn't know, we had a bye in week 1 and a bye in week 7. So we had 2 bye weeks throughout the season, and week 2 was where we started, and that's where we found our first losing week of the season. We went 1-3, but then things looked brighter in week 4, where we ended up going 3-1, with the likes of Anquan Bolding having a good game, Kelvin Benjamin, the great rookie for Carolina this year, having a good game, and the running back from Detroit, Joique Bell, also helped you out, had a good game. The lone struggler in week 4 was Chris Johnson. I told you to sit him, and of course he goes off, has about 18 points in that week, and get this, only 1 of 4 weeks the entire season that he had 10 plus fantasy points. So kind of ran into some bad luck there. And then we had consecutive losing streaks. After we get off our high from week 4, we kind of come back down to earth, and we go week 5, week 6, we have consecutive losing weeks at 1-3, and then we jump back and we have 4 weeks of mediocrity, average, 2-2. 2 good ones, 2 bad ones. But then it all culminates in week 12 and week 13, where we go 4-0 in each week. Week 12, the starting and sit-em section, I told you to start Trey Mason and Shady McCoy. Both had good games. Trey Mason didn't have a spectacular game, but I said he would be a running back 2 caliber type player. I think he had about 8.7, 8.6 fantasy points that week, so that worked. And then I told you to sit Phillip Rivers, who started off the year very, very well and just kind of fell off towards the end of the year, and Jonas Gray, coming off the week where he absolutely destroyed the Denver Broncos. I had a feeling this guy, he was just going to be a flash in the pan, and it turned out he was. He missed a meeting, and Bill Belichick barely let him see the field after that. So I had Rivers and Gray that week, and week 13 was our first Waiver Wire Tuesday segment of the year. Got all 4 of those, gave you good pickups off the waiver wire on a Tuesday. But then after week 13, week 14 to the divisional round, we did not finish the season out strong. We ended up going 6-10, 2 weeks of 2-2, and 2 weeks of 1-3. So we didn't finish out the season strong. All in all, however, we did finish the season with 30 wins and 30 losses. So it ended up being an average season. So we didn't finish up strong, but we ended up at 30-30. We went 2 times, week 12 and week 13, perfect, 4-0. And get this, we had 0 times of going 0-4. So how about that? That's a good little stat to put in my pocket, I guess, for the season. Average season, mediocre 30-30. I'm not going to rant and rave about 30-30. It's good. It's not bad. It's average. But I had a blast doing this for you guys. I want to thank you guys. I do this all for you. The followers, the watchers, the contributors, those of you who've shared my videos on Facebook, those of you who've gone to YouTube and watched them, those of you who've commented and asked me questions about specific guys that I didn't even make videos about. After this, I had a couple of friends, Brian Gregg for example, one that, you know, Facebook messaged me asking me about certain players, who to sit, who to start, and I was able to help them out. So that's what I want to do for you guys. Moving forward, going on to next year, I'm going to do Waiver Wire Tuesday every week. I'm going to do Fantasy Football Stardom Sit-ems every single week. I wanted to see you guys get more involved. Ask me questions off the videos. Maybe guys that I don't talk about, but you know, that you might have on your team, and ask questions. I'll answer the questions. I'm happy to answer the questions. I'll give you my reasoning. I'll back up that with statistical information. Or maybe it's just a gut feeling, the way I see these guys playing day in and day out. Reports that you may have missed, that I can find, that I can look up for you. anything to make this segment more successful, I'm willing to listen and willing to do. And I want to help you guys out, especially succeed in fantasy. It wasn't a great fantasy year overall for me. You know, it was basically culminated 30-30. It was an average season. I didn't win any of the leagues. Highest I came in was third in my own Word with G league. And Graham Muller and Rick Fulton also came 1-2 in there. Graham ended up winning, but it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed doing it. So I look forward to seeing you again in the spring, because you bet your butt we're gonna do fantasy football, or excuse me, fantasy baseball. I'm not gonna do stardom situms, but I'll give you weekly videos on maybe guys to look out for, guys to pick up off the waiver wire, guys that maybe you should start, maybe you should sit, things of that nature. But look for it in the spring. I'm going to be doing baseball. I'll get into that shortly. I know pitchers and catchers have just arrived, and I'm getting, I don't know about you, but I'm getting excited for baseball. And right here, we've got our new t-shirts. I know I haven't mentioned it yet. I'm sure you've noticed it. The black with the white writing, and then over here we've got the white with the black writing. So we've got a little bit of culmination of both. We don't have many of the white left, a couple smalls, but we have a whole box of the blacks, black and whites. So I'm going to put the link right here, and I'll have it in the title, I'll have it in the caption of the video, so you can go on eBay and get your Word with G t-shirt. Black and the white, I think it looks a lot better. The white with better than the white with the black. I like it a lot. Props to Stacy Browen and her dad, her company, for hooking me up with these shirts and being able to help me out. So it's been a lot of fun. This is the Word with G, fantasy football. Stardom, Sid'em, Waiver Wire Tuesday, season in review. We ended up going 30-30. We'll have better luck next year. I look forward to getting it going in the spring with fantasy baseball, where you sit back and listen, and I'll explain. This is your host, Greg Larner. We'll catch you in the spring.